Welcome, everybody. You are getting Lost in Plot, the show where we focus on story first, but not exclusively, across the mediums of television, film, video games, really anything with a story. I'm Wade, that's my brother Jake, and today we have for you, The Tomorrow War.
So let's go get Lost in Plot, guys. Standard warning, there might be some spoilers ahead.
Will be.
Will be. Let's go. Time travelers from the year 2051 arrive with an urgent message. 30 years in the future, humanity is losing a war to a deadly alien species. The only hope for survival is for civilians and soldiers to be transported into the future and join the fight. Determined to save the world for his daughter, Dan Forrester teams up with a brilliant scientist and his estranged father to rewrite the planet's fate. So this is your ordinary man in an extraordinary situation type story. Thematically, the Dan Forrester character is trying to achieve greatness, but he's looking for it in all the wrong places. Instead, it's through family, his role as a father, as a husband, as a son, that he finds his true purpose and can kill all the alien monsters. So kind of basic stuff, but that is our plot for The Tomorrow War.
You're right, The Tomorrow War. What an interesting, cool premise. To me, I was wowed by that premise. I'm like, man, this is pretty high concept. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I'm kind of surprised nobody had done it before. It was a very unique premise, and I thought that they actually execute their premise fairly well. We'll get into that as we go along. But you're right. Obviously, it's a family-type arc. That was a major point. I thought it worked for this type of a film. I thought it helped bring some good human drama.
I think so, too. I think it did what they wanted it to achieve. I mean, let's not mince word. This is a big tentpole effort for Amazon Studios. I mean, this is it. This was their big release for the summer. They went out and got Chris Pratt. He's probably one of the top A-list guys you can get to headline this kind of a film. And thematically, it's a very safe movie. It's reinforcing family concepts, role, responsibility, duty to your family. These are all well embraced by most audiences. So not a whole lot of controversial stuff here.
Now
that's not going to avoid the controversy.
Now
though,
you
because
say
even today,
that. Oh, now you say that these are safe themes.
Yeah.
I would even try to qualify that and say, yeah, maybe there's safe themes for family movies. How often do you get these types of themes in a sci-fi actioner? I think that's exceedingly rare these days.
True. I could go with you for that one. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, let's find out who put those themes in there with who wrote this.
That's right. Now, say my name.
Guys, we're talking about who wrote this, and the man is Zach Dean. It's so refreshing sometimes to have a sole writer credit, especially on a big tentpole project like this. So Zach Dean has got a few prior credits I'm not very familiar with either. I don't know if you are.
Nope.
2012, he wrote Deadfall. That's at a 5.7 from the audience score.
Any idea what that was even about?
It's got some names. I want to say Eric Bana might have been in it. So a few kind of B, C-listers. I don't remember what the plot was for the film, honestly, though.
All right.
24 Hours to Live was more recent. That's 2017. That had Ethan Hawke in it. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it, but it does sound very familiar.
Checking in at a 5.3. So those are, average scores, not really setting the world on fire, is Zach Dean. But with The Tomorrow War, he's checking in at a 6.3. So it's slightly up. Are you surprised by that score at all?
I don't want to give anything away, but I'm not particularly surprised by that score. I guess, if anything, I'd even say I expect it to be a bit higher.
Okay, now I'll caveat it by saying that was the score at the time that I picked it. So these things are always changing as people come in and log more reviews. It might be different now, but that's what we had. That's all of our credits. Let's hand it over to you to break the story.
Fantastic. So my one thing for The Tomorrow War is compelling human drama in an action sci-fi film. A rather novel thing that we don't see a lot these days, as I previously mentioned. Now, this is a cool movie. It's got a cool concept, right? We've got people that are being drafted into time travel to fight a future war against an alien species that's about to wipe us out. That's pretty cool. We see Chris Pratt actually go through the time travel and battle these aliens in Miami. That's pretty cool too. In fact, we see the aliens, the white spikes, and their design and behavior. That's really cool as well. But cool doesn't carry you over a 2-hour and 20-minute runtime. For that, you need people to actually care about the characters and care about their relationships, and that's where this film excels. Now, it starts out with Chris Pratt, who appears to be an earnest family man committed to his wife and his daughter, but he's unhappy with the direction of his life. He wants more, and he's estranged from his father, whom he resents for abandoning him as a teenager. Now, as the film progresses, we get to see him in the unique perspective when he goes to the future of being under the command of his now adult daughter who's leading the human forces. And here he learns that he has committed the same cardinal sin that his father did unto him by abandoning his family. So it's kind of an odd situation where he has to reconcile a broken relationship with his daughter based on actions he's yet to do, but now realizes he's capable of. And this shadows him in the third act when he returns to present time and chooses to reconcile the damaged relationship between him and his father as they finally suppress the alien threat. So, as cool and as flashy and as interesting as all the big high action sequences were, for me what really was the magic of the movie was all the interpersonal relationships and the human characters that was in this film.
Yeah, and to me it goes back to my comments about the theme being family and his commitment to family. When we first meet the character, he doesn't get that big job that he really wanted. That was going to be his ticket to greatness. He was going to do amazing things. He sees the soccer player on the TV with his daughter right next to him talking about how they're the best at what they do, and that's kind of what he wants, right?
That's right.
He wants that greatness in his life, but what we see happen at all times through the films is the only way he's going to get past those aliens, that menace, is when he embraces his family. He embraces his role as a father. He does that with his daughter in the future. He does that with his dad when he reconciles that, and then throughout the film, leaning on his wife as well. So those roles are really, if you want to do greatness, you're looking in the wrong place. You might just want to look to your family, and serving in those traditional roles can be how you achieve greatness with your life, which is not anything earth-shattering. It's just a nice theme to reinforce and strap to your big tentpole film, so you're not going to alienate too many people with that.
Not earth-shattering, but tried and true, and it resonates for enough people that I think it's good territory. And I think your analysis of the theme is pretty spot on. You can track it from beginning to end. So I guess maybe that's an issue with the fact that it's one writer who can clearly express his intent when he does this type of a film. And I thought he did an amazing job. I also thought Chris Pratt is as good as I've seen him. He plays some really tough scenes with incredible dramatic nuance and really conveys a realistic sense of the emotion. This is a film that when it reaches for that emotion, it gets it. It's really a master of craft, and I think they did a fine job both directing and acting.
Yeah, I agree. And some of those action sequences were really awesome. Like the special effects work wowed me. And I'm not really wowed by a whole lot of CG or special effects, but that first one where they're kind of dropping into Miami and they're going, I thought that was the best action set piece of the film. It's kind of a problem that you lead off with that. You're supposed to finish with your best action set piece. You're supposed to build up to it, but
an interesting criticism.
I certainly thought that they kind of blew that early there, but I think we're heading towards Dead or Alive.
And that's why I think that's an interesting criticism. So let's get to it and find out whether this film is dead or alive.
Okay, time to shoot our shots. This is Dead or Alive. I guess I'll go first.
Take it away.
Now, for me, I'm going to say this one is actually alive.
Wow, the
Alive.
Amazon original lives!
It did it for me. It did it for me on the strength of those special effects and some of those action sequences. Like, it got my blood up. Like, I was into it. I was into it watching those. It was not a dull time. They delivered on the action in some of these set pieces. But I'm going to temper it with barely a 6 out of 10. Alive with a 6 out of 10.
You're going to be okay.
The reason for that is anytime you do a time travel story, you're in trouble. Okay? It's really hard to do time travel right because you're going to leave giant plot holes along the way. And this one is no exception. To your point about Chris Pratt, kind of the trope is we're all afraid of becoming the worst parts of our fathers. Mm-hmm. And his daughter kind of tells him that when he's in the future. And it's just like, how? I don't believe it. I don't believe he would ever do that. Nor do I believe he could do that because he's talking to you about it right now. And you're saying he's going to go home and become a jerk and abandon you and leave. Why would he ever do that? So it didn't make sense to me. That was a big plot hole that I couldn't get around. I was like, that's all crap. So few movies handle the time travel stuff right. I would say Terminator 2 is probably the one that like gracefully did it the best.
Yep.
and just left it there. But like, when you look at the other films in time travel and the paradoxes and the things that can come in, they really kind of get your mind spinning on everything else that it shouldn't be, when it should just be enjoying a simple, fun summer movie, right?
I agree with that critique. Now, for me, this film is also alive. And I'm going to put it also at a 6 out of 10.
Wow.
I enjoyed my time with this film. I did not expect to. I was wowed by the first half of this movie. And
half.
I'm thinking numbers
That's
around
key.
like 7, numbers around 8, because you had an issue with the time travel. I thought they did it artfully enough. There's problems with it, but they did enough. All right, they did the thing where there's rafts, but the raft is moving in the present, the raft is moving in the future, so you can only skip to this period of time. Fine, whatever. He gets a little gauntlet on his forearm. It's going to take him back in 7 days, which I thought was really a neat plot idea. But everything from through the setup of that first act, the choices they make in not showing you these creatures right away, they don't. They keep it a mystery. So, and they keep the time travel a mystery. So all of a sudden, you're living in real time with the protagonist is seeing. You haven't seen anything. And that was the most riveting sequence for me, where he's on the platform with all these other poor people who are getting sent into the future. They've done an amazing job telling you what the risks are and how low the survival rate is. And then they get beamed up. Something goes wrong. I was shocked and surprised. You see people literally dropping out of the sky. Something gets screwed up. People are dropping from like skyscrapers down.
That sequence of the whole film.
Just
that whole stretch.
Unbelievable. You are stunned. And they haven't even showed us the aliens yet.
Yeah. That's where that stands. The other thing that I think we have to talk about is because we can't ignore politics in this one, especially when it comes to Amazon, because famously, I don't know if you're aware, they've got a policy now. They won't greenlight a film unless a certain portion of the writers and directors and the crew and the actors are non-white, are minorities.
I think they call that racism.
You weren't aware of that? Or
No,
were
I
you
was
aware
not.
of
I was
that?
not aware of that. This
I
is the
don't
first
think
time
that
I've
happened
been told.
on this film. But as you can see, you can just see it in all the supporting cast. It's very, very diverse. A lot of women. And for me, it kind of strained my belief a little bit when the two women, the army sergeants, are bossing Chris Pratt around. The first time he gets his little gauntlet put on, they're shoving him through and they're just so cold and sterile through the whole thing when he's getting registered and everything. And then I kind of, Yvonne Strowski, I think her name is, when she's up on, what was it, like the 40 cal machine gun on top of the Jeep?
Yes.
If she fired that like once or twice, she'd probably be flipped off into the ocean. Like
That probably would have flipped me off into the open too, quite frankly.
It happened to me too. Yeah. I don't see her like muscling that thing down and around and killing all the aliens like that. So I had that in my mind. I know that Amazon has gone through with this new policy. I think it's going forward in a lot of their films. They're not going to greenlight them unless they meet their diversity standards.
That policy is a joke. Stop with the bean counting. Pick the best man or woman for the job, because we're all going to benefit. It's going to be an amazing film. And you know what? Don't be... I mean, it's almost counter to the entire message, because you're assuming that, well, by having women or by having diverse people, I'm attributing to them certain attributes and ideas and ways of thinking that are inherent to their race and or gender, which I believe is stereotyping and somewhat racist. So the policy is all backwards. Just throw it out. Best man or woman for the job. I doubt anybody wants to think that they got a job or a role because of their gender or because of their race. They want to think it's because of their talent. That's what they deserve recognition for. That's what should be rewarded. The best man or woman for the job based on merit.
It's very well said. And this one, it wasn't really an issue for me. I was able to watch this and not really
I didn't even
dwell
notice
too much
You're
on that
mentioning it now. I didn't
whatsoever. But I worry that in the future, if Amazon is going to try these things, which the big one on the horizon is their Lord of the Rings series. That's where they're putting all their money. This is going to be the most expensive series that's ever been produced, is Lord of the Rings for Amazon. They need it to be a massive, massive hit. You're worried.
I bet against
You're
that
concerned?
one. I'm betting against that one. Good luck, but, you know.
We will see. But I think that wraps us up here for Tomorrow War.
That's right. Guys, what did you think about Tomorrow War? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you not like it at all? Is there anything that we said in this particular review about this film that you take issue with? If so, let us know in the comments down below. If you like this review, please give us a thumbs up. If you loved it, consider a subscription, because we're going to be back, and we will see you all on the next one.